Hi guys, I'm Davey, the exam coach. It's great to be here. And today, I've got a very simple message. It's how to do exams the exam coach way. So, school, let's talk about it. Sometimes it can feel like a bit of a battle, right? You go in, you put your uniform on, this could be your armor, so to speak, metaphorically, and you pick up your pen, maybe that's your sword maybe, and your folders, that's your shield. And you try and make progress every day. You know, sometimes it goes well, sometimes it doesn't go so well, but I think a battle is a good analogy to use when you're talking about school. So today what we're actually doing is we're stopping. We're taking a step back. We're taking on the role of the commander, the general. And we're looking at the whole battlefield and we're saying, look, what's going on here? How can I actually win this thing? How can I not only win the battle, but win the war? Cool, the first thing you got to do is you got to visualize. So, begin with the end in mind. I ask a lot of students, what do you want? What do you want to get? What grades do you want? And they just say to me, good grades. What does good grades mean? It doesn't mean anything. You need to set yourself a very, very clear target. Because if you just go into these exams saying, I just want to do pretty well, that could be absolutely anything. So set yourself a very clear target. Begin with the end in mind. And the way you do that is you use something that I call the 3 Ps. Make your outcome present, positive, and personal. And the great thing about outcomes as well is, a lot of the time, you don't usually get them bang on. In fact, a lot of you in this room will not get your outcome this year. I can guarantee you that. But what you will do, if you set an ambitious outcome, you will get very, very, very close to it. And that's what we want to do. So right now, write this down, take note, make something present, positive, and personal. I have 3 A stars at A level, or whatever you want. And then set yourself that target and work towards it, because if you can make it clear now, you've got a very good chance of getting close. All right, let's move now. The second thing, here we go. The second thing is strategy. You need a strategy, you need a way of doing things. You need to understand what makes you succeed and fail. Now, when I was at school, I was getting things like this in my academic work. Now, this wasn't very good. I don't know if any of you can relate to this in here, in this room, or this. And I had to figure out, look, academics hasn't been the easiest thing for me all the time, like behavior and then concentration and attention and things like that didn't always come naturally. But then you've got to think about your strategy, the way you're actually doing things, and think about different areas of your life that you're actually successful in at the moment, because they can really, really help you out. And this is what I did. Think about an area of your life that you're succeeding in the moment, and think about how you can transfer those behaviors into your academic life, into your approach to exams. So you flip it and you stop seeing exams as these things that are a hard task and things that you don't necessarily enjoy, and you take something that you really do enjoy and you transfer what you're doing there directly into that. Here's an example. When I was at school, I loved sport. On the sports field, I was very engaged, always enjoying myself, and I thought, right, what is actually making me enjoy this activity so much? And it was really because I didn't have a chance to think about anything else when you're playing sport, because you know when you're playing sport, 2 things are going to happen if you're not actually paying attention to what's going on. 1, you're going to lose the game, and 2, you're probably going to get hurt. Some sports are dangerous, right? So I said, right, can I take this behavior, engagement, and plug it in to my academic life? And once you actually stop what we're doing today, look at things and actually say, right, yeah, I can do that. What do I need to do to actually increase my engagement in the classroom? 1, when you go into the classroom, actually switch on. The moment you cross that threshold into the classroom, you say, right, here we go. I've got to make it happen. Next thing you do is you look at the things that take away or distract you from your academic work. Facebook, Instagram. The moment I saw that red notification icon, I'd automatically think, that is making me fail. That is my failure strategy. That's how you've got to identify it. That thing is directly making you fail. So every time you go on that, you are buying in to your failure strategy. And every time you do not go on that, you're playing to your success strategy. Making that distinction right now is really, really important. The third type of relationship is with your teachers. Now, the one with your teachers is really interesting, because we know that sometimes we put our hands up in the classroom, we get an answer, and the teacher answers it as best as they can, and we don't really understand it all. And a teacher's job is to actually explain things in a way that you understand it. And it's not your fault for not understanding that. That's what they've been trained to do, is to synthesize and create information in a way that's actually digestible for other people to learn and take it on board. But a lot of the time, I did this the whole time, you put your hand up, you don't really understand it, you just nod your head and say yes, and then the opportunity's gone. So this attitude is the whatever it takes attitude. It's the idea that you're not going to do that. You're going to put your hand up in front of the whole class and say, hey, I know this is the most simple thing, we've been talking about it since day one, but I just never really understood it. And if you can do that, that's big. Because in the exam room, nobody else is watching. It's just you and the paper. And if you can get that stuff down, that core stuff that so many people just skip over, then that's going to pay dividends on exam day. So I want you to write down which is the particular type of relationship out of the three, yourself, your friends, your teachers, that you've really got to focus on and improve in time for exam day. You got to have standards, because great exam performance is not about crushing a day of revision the night before exams. It's not about that. It's about consistency. It's about standards. It's about doing the little things every single day. It's about turning all the things that you know you really should do into musts. Turning a should into a must. That's all a standard is. Because everybody knows what they should do. Exam performance and preparation really isn't that difficult when you break it down. All of you know what you got to do. You got to work hard, you got to persevere, and you got to do it consistently and smartly over an extended period of time. This is massive for when you're in the exam room, because this will happen this year. There'll be a really tough exam paper. It'll be tougher than any exam paper that's ever happened. People will come out and say, oh, that was just so unfair. It was our year that got it. It's going to happen. But when you're in the exam room, you cannot think like that. You've just got to play what's in front of you. And having the ability to just say, right, I can't control this. The only thing I control is my performance. And if you can think like that in the exam and train yourself to think like that in all the past papers and all the work you do leading up to it, you're going to be in a really good place. So how are we going to do that? Now, when I was in your position, I had loads of people come in and talk to me about exams. And they'd chuck a load of revision techniques at me and say, hey, highlight this, make a bubble around this, do all these crazy things. And I just had too much. I couldn't think, which one do I do? I don't know how I learn. I just kind of write things down, try and remember them, and go into the exam and try and perform my best. So when you do things the exam coach way, you just keep it real simple. So every time when you're doing your 3-sheet technique, you should have your syllabus there, and you should be reverse engineering out of it. So what I mean by that is you lead with the syllabus. You look, what's this topic? What do I need to know? What is definitely going to be on this paper? And then you go and find it, you learn it, and you systematically go through this. And if you do this over an extended period of time, you're going to have covered all your bases. It's as simple as that. So the syllabus is key. Always have your map. If you don't have your map, if your teacher hasn't given you the map, if you've lost your map, go and get it, use it every day. Every single time you revise, you should have it there. But I would be taking notes on my phone, because your phone is always with you. So think about it. Could you jot down 5 points that you need to remember that day and have it on your phone? Have it with you. Do things that other people just aren't prepared to do. When everybody else is texting on the Snap, on Insta, on Facebook, you're just there reviewing 5 things that you need to know for that 5 marker that's going to come up in the exam. And it's another thing. It's just a little distinction that really does make the difference in the long run. And the Nailing It plan is made of 3 distinct parts. Pre-exam, during exam, post-exam. And for each of these 3 parts, you have a routine, a ritual, a performance that you practice and learn, and you do it every single time you have an exam. So this is part of the exam coach performance plan I'm doing in the lead up to exams. Is I'm releasing the fun exam plan, foundation, understanding, nailing it, across social media. So this will be in your feed. This will be there for you every day. The Nailing It plan, we haven't got time to cover it today, but it'll be there in your feed for you. And every time you go on to procrastinate, because this is one of the keys that people do, they lose time. This is one of the failure strategies. But the exam coach way goes to that. It grabs your attention in the feed where you are and says, hey, come on, let's think about your exams. So the Nailing It plan will be on there. The other thing, Snapchat, this is a big one. A lot of young people spending their time and attention on that right now. Exams are about time and attention. It's about how you use it, how you allocate your resources leading up to exams. Snapchat's a big one. If you see the exam coach there every day, putting out content, showing you the routines, the simple things you got to do every day and build up over time, that's going to be great, because it's going to make that little distinction every single time. That thing that you need to just say, okay, exams are what's important to me at the moment. I've got to get back to work. I've had a little, browse of the feed, but this is really what's got to happen at the moment. And lastly, I want to talk to you about what I think is now the most important thing to focus on when you're thinking about exams. I've mentioned it before today, and it's the A word, attention. Previously, hard work was the most important ingredient to fantastic exam performance, and it still is. It's number 2, but the top one right now is attention. It's the new global currency. It's how people like Facebook, like Instagram, like Snapchat, the things that have just taken over and encapsulated and defined our generation. It's how they make their money. It's attention, right? And you've got to realize that it's a currency. Time and attention costs money, and it's worth something. And it's how you allocate that from now to your exams that is going to make all the difference. Attention will allow you to work hard. It will allow you to use your map, to work smart, to do all those things that we've talked about today that actually contribute to exam performance. Thanks very much.